Us new YouTubers have so much to get our heads around in our first few months on the platform. So that's what today's video is about. I'm going to talk about what I've learned in my first 3 months on YouTube and how I'm going to use that knowledge to make my channel better going forward. And that's coming up right after this. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Nice to see you again. I've reached the 3-month point of my YouTube journey and I've got some initial learnings and things that I think I've kind of started to get the hang of. So I kind of wanted to explain that in this video. 3 main points, 3 things that I think I've started to get my head around and how that's going to inform what I do next, the videos that I make and where this channel goes. So I wanted to share that with you because I think it's important to, even when you're very new, and you don't have a huge audience, to actually think about the audience that you do have and always keep that sense of community as part of what you're doing. I also promised in a previous video that I was going to reveal what my next photo location was, so I'm going to do that today. So stick around to the end of the video and you're going to find out what my photography plans are and where my next trip's going to be. And of course, if you want to follow those adventures, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Click the subscribe, click the bell for notifications, and then you'll find out first whenever new content goes up about new journeys that I'm doing. So let's talk about what I've learned. Well, the first thing for any YouTuber is kind of the technical stuff. There is so much to learn about how to shoot, how to record audio properly, how to improve your editing skills. And that's taken me a little while. I think you can very easily get lost in all the gear. I think you can get lost in thinking, oh, if I want this to be better, I need to start immediately upgrading my vlogging camera and all that sort of stuff. And I just think that's a fool's errand, ultimately, because there will always be something better. There will always be a technological way of making your video slightly better. But actually, it's the thought and the time and the creativity that goes into it that's going to make the biggest difference. So I'm kind of happy for the minute with how I'm recording these videos. I think getting the audio right was my biggest learning curve straight away, especially if, like me, you're using a GoPro to vlog quite a lot of the time. But I kind of feel like I've got the audio side of things a little bit better now. Sorry, there's a pheasant going mental in the field over there, which just completely threw me. The other thing I have to bear in mind and not beat myself up too much about is that quite a few of the early videos that I recorded, especially the ones in the series of 6 videos that I did from Namibia, were done before I'd really started the channel. So I went out there knowing that I was going to get the YouTube channel going once I got back, but I hadn't really edited any videos together, so I didn't really have an appreciation for what I was shooting and exactly how much B-roll I would need, how many different pieces to camera I should record to tell a story. So when I came to edit all that Namibia stuff, I found myself quite often frustrated because I didn't quite have the clip that I wanted, or just things like I'd shot too much of it on the GoPro and not enough on my DSLRs, so that a lot of the footage that I had was just, it was kind of samey. It was all the same wide angle GoPro view. And I was there thinking, God, I wish I'd taken some, video through the telephoto lens when I was in Etosha and things like that. But, you just have to accept if you haven't got that footage, you can't really do a lot with it. So those videos were as good as they could be. And I tried a few different things to try and do that. But I think it's important to try and come up with a kind of consistency to the technical way that you approach videos, so that every video that you do doesn't look really different. I think it's an important thing that people want to kind of get the sense of how you do things. They'll either like it or they won't, and they'll either subscribe or not based on that. But I think if there's at least an element of consistency without it becoming dull and samey, then I think that's worth sticking to. The other thing I've done is I've watched an awful lot of content from other vloggers and try to draw as much inspiration from them as I can and figure out what I liked about certain people's videos, what I didn't like about certain people's videos. So it's probably worth sharing a few of those learnings as well. So one of the things that I've figured out about other vloggers is that those that have a style seem to be the ones that do the best. And they attract an audience that likes them for what they are. So there's all sorts of people that I watch. You know, amongst the photography community on YouTube, you've got people like Gavin Hardcastle, who put so much thought into the kind of the fun and the humour and the comedy of his channel, along with taking great shots. That's not something I think I would replicate that easily, but I definitely like the fact that he's got that style running through all his videos. You know, he's even extended it to his little catchphrases that he uses. He's even created characters for Adam Gibbs as Uncle Grumpy and things like that, which I love. So there's definitely a sense that creating that sort of style, creating some things that really feel like they're yours. Whereas there are some other photographers who are very good, their knowledge is great, their shots are great, but I just don't feel gripped by watching their videos. And so I think that you've got to create that little bit of X factor. That's something that's unique about your channel that just your audience come to expect from you and isn't the same as everybody else. I think if you can get that down, then I think that's a really powerful thing to make your channel popular. While we're on the subject of how other photographers do things, one thing that I have noticed a lot, and I'm really going to try and stick to with my videos, is not to make them too long, because I know everybody's trying to get more watch minutes, but there are some photographers whose videos are 20+ minutes long, and all they've actually done is take a couple of shots. And when you actually listen to them talking or you watch their B-roll, it's repetitive. And I think you lose people so quickly with that. And actually the people that I've unsubscribed from, that's pretty much the main reason that's made me unsubscribe, is that every time a new video goes up, it's 20+ minutes long. And I just haven't got the time to sit and devote, when I'm following quite a few people, to putting that much time into any one person's content, unless it's absolutely spectacular. But I don't think it needs to be. You know, if you look at people like, you take someone really popular like Peter McKinnon, his videos aren't 25 minutes long. A lot of his are 5 to 10 minutes. It's not photography related, but I follow a guy called Nick Nimin, who just does a lot of tips about vlogging and YouTube. And most of his videos are hardly more than 5 minutes long. He talks quite fast, but he packs in the information and he doesn't waffle and he doesn't repeat himself. So I'm definitely going to try and learn the art of brevity in my videos, because I think ultimately that helps keep the quality high, even if you're not getting as many minutes per video of watch time, because I think if you're boring, you won't get the watch time minutes anyway. I think my final thought on style is that your actual personality and your age and even your manner of speaking fits the style of your vlogging, the style of your editing, your choice of music, all of those things. Otherwise, it just doesn't really gel. If you talk fairly fast, but your edits are slow and languid, then that's going to seem out of kilter. So that's definitely something I'm going to work on a little bit, is just developing that overall style of presentation so that the whole thing kind of fits. If you can hear some clucking in the background of this video, it's my chickens. I'm recording this in the garden, they've come to join me. Hang on, I'll spin the camera around and I'll introduce them to you. This is Chickie 1 and Chickie 2. They don't have proper names, they're just chickens. They're frankly a right pest. They follow me around the garden, they peck my feet. You gonna peck my feet? Yeah, of course you are. But hey, they're kind of lovable little dudes and they're part of the family, so there we go. Right, sorry about that quick chicken interruption. They'll just keep clucking away in the background, it's fine. So the third thing that I've realized I need to improve and do some work on is kind of the editorial element, because in my practice phase, I've tried some different videos. I've tried some office-based videos. I've tried some processing videos where I'm actually capturing what I'm doing on screen. I've done some out in the field stuff. Of course, I did some travel stuff in Namibia. But I think it's important that the channel doesn't leap around too much. Again, I think to reflect my personality, there's going to be a certain amount of variety, because I am not the sort of person who can make the same video over and over and over again, whatever type it is, whether it's in the field or in the office or whatever. I get too bored, particularly in the editing, if everything is exactly the same all the time. So I'm going to mix it up, but I think different audiences want different things. Some people, you know, are really into the photography element, and they want a more technical channel. I'll be honest, I think there are people out there already doing that, and I think I've already worked out that I'm just not as interested in sharing EXIF data and sharing, you know, every single setting of the camera. I will do that stuff because I think it is important, and it is a photography channel after all, so if I'm not talking about that stuff, I don't think people are going to watch for very long. But I kind of want to explore my own territory there, and it is more about a kind of a sense of wonder, a sense of how awesome photography is as a hobby, and how amazing nature is, and how amazing wildlife is. And that's really what I'd like to get across and talk about more. And I'd like to talk about more about the backstory of, you know, of how I do stuff, probably in a different kind of technical way, more perhaps about the logistics of doing stuff sometimes than it is about, you know, F numbers and shutter speeds all of the time. So I need to work on exactly how I'm going to create that style, but that's definitely something that I'm going to work on, and make sure that I'm not just producing videos that are a bit neither one thing nor the other. Okay, so what's coming next? I've got about 3 or 4 videos planned, and they're going to be on a mixture of subjects. There's going to be some local photography, and there's also going to be some trip planning for my next bit of travel. So that's probably where the content's going to be for the next few videos. And I promised you that by the end of this video I would reveal where my next location was going to be. So we're about, I don't know, about 4 or 5 weeks away now, I think, from heading off on my next trip. And it's going to be a landscape photography trip, as I think I told you before. And the location of that is going to be the island of Mallorca. Now I know what you're thinking. Oh yeah, Mallorca, going to Magaluf for some beers. It's not that kind of thing. You know, that was my probably kind of stereotypical view of Mallorca as well. When I started researching into it, I realized what an amazing place it is for landscapes, and how beautiful. So I'm going to devote a video to why I ended up choosing to go to Mallorca, why I think it's going to be an amazing location, and how I'm going to approach that to get the best out of it. So that's going to be a separate video coming up soon. But in the meantime, I'm just going to keep on keeping on. I think fundamentally, I think you know, all YouTubers need to just keep at it, keep constantly improving, keep challenging yourself, not beating yourself up because you're not gaining hundreds of subscribers a week. You know, what am I on? 21 subscribers? It's still a tiny, tiny amount. But I'm still loving doing what I'm doing. And if I keep doing the right things, you just have to have the belief that the audience will come. So I'm not going to expect anything. I think that some of the advice that I've seen from other YouTubers is, you know, it is a marathon, not a sprint. So I'm just going to keep enjoying the process of creating, not worry too much about the outcomes. I'm a million miles away from worrying about monetizing this channel, doing anything like that with it. So right now, it's just a focus on quality content, keeping it interesting, staying on a subject, and hopefully finding that audience. But what I do want to do is those few of you, bless you, who are already subscribed to the channel and watch the videos, please do let me have some feedback. Let me know honestly what you think of the videos so far. If you've got a favorite, if you thought there were any that were particularly good, let me know. If you think there were any that were terrible, let me know. And tell me what you want to see next. Tell me if I've got it wrong about the technical stuff. You know, if you want to say, no, actually, you know what, if you're not delving into the photography more, I'm not going to stay subscribed, or just whatever you feel like. Whatever you feel is going to benefit the channel, let me know about it down in the comments, and I'd really, really appreciate that feedback. So, next video, I think it's going to be here in the New Forest on a landscape shoot, because I've got a plan to do. I saw a shot the other day that I really, really like the idea of going and capturing at dawn. So that'll probably be the next video, early next week. And until then, have an amazing weekend. Take care, go safe.